Just giving you guys my final reminder that I am still hosting a shark card giveaway. That's going on my Twitter. I'm giving away $1.25 million. I'm going to be picking the winner sometime tomorrow on Saturday, and this kind of ties into what we're going to be talking about today, so I'll leave a link to that tweet in the description. It's happening on my Twitter account right now. But today, in this video, I'm going to be offering my buyer beware for the new DLC content, specifically focused around the Halloween 2016 update. So in addition to offering some warnings, some buyer beware, we're also going to be looking at the performance metrics of this bike. But let's start with probably the biggest thing that jumps off the paper first, and that is the price. A lot of people are concerned with the price, and it comes in at $1,995,000, which basically is $2 million by the time you do any bit of customization. And for starters, I'm not really sure why people are now all of a sudden shocked about this price. We knew about it really like the day after Bikers came out, but I will agree that it is very expensive. This becomes the most expensive vehicle to release thus far with Grand Theft Auto Online Bikers. Now, we do know that there's going to be one more expensive vehicle, which is the Shotaro Tron bike, and that is set to release, I don't know, sometime in the next couple weeks or so, and we know that that price is over $2.3 million. So is it the most expensive vehicle to come out of Bikers? No, but it is very, very expensive for what you are getting. So I think this price is bad for a couple reasons. Number one, it's happening at a bad time. Many people lost a lot of their money with the recent sweep and the recent wave of bans that are going on. Now, whether that's justified or not, that's for another topic. But a lot of people have lost a lot of money, and then comes the most expensive bike in the game. And number two, this bike is set to release, like I said, likely before the Shotaro comes out in just a couple weeks, which is $2.3 million. So that's one of my warnings right there, is if you're more in love with the Shotaro bike from what you've seen so far, that's the Tron bike, that is likely going to be coming out soon. And if you only have the money for one of the two, you might want to save your money for that, because it's likely coming right around the corner. However, let's say you do want to buy this vehicle. What you're going to be buying this for is clearly its customization. There are a ton of unique customization options here that make the Sanctus bike incredible. Starting with the obvious, you have the skull on the front, which of course we have no other bike in the game or other vehicle that has really anything similar to that. The red headlights, which are extremely cool. So what also kind of has me excited here is the Sanctus and its red headlights kind of gives me hope for the fact that Rockstar could do this for other vehicles, adding colored headlights on other cars and bikes. I'm surprised they didn't do this with the Vortex either. That seemed like the perfect opportunity to do something like that. But nonetheless, you've got the skull and the red lights. You've got the devil horned shaped handlebars, which are pretty cool, as well as the stock kind of spider web attachments on the front and the rear wheel, as well as close to the fuel tank, which I think is pretty neat. And then really last but not least, you've got the kind of backbone / rib cage feature that goes kind of towards the top of the fuel tank as well. So those are some pretty unique customization options, but for $2 million, I almost expected more. I wish there was some more cool features about this bike that really just jumped off the page for me. Obviously, one of the effects that I saw would be pretty neat would be like the flame effect, something that happens to the Ghost Rider, like it would just burst into flames randomly. That, in my opinion, could be pretty cool. Now, it does have a different exhaust pop / flame from every other bike, where some dark smoke emits coming from the exhaust. But I don't know. I just see $2 million, and I expected it to have maybe a little bit more. Now, I can understand why the price is there. It's a collector's item. It's unique. It's obviously different from all the other bikes, and there is a chance that it will be time sensitive. Now, we don't know that for sure, but there obviously could be a point in time where this vehicle will be removed from being able to be purchased in online. So customization wise, does it justify the $2 million price tag? That is to be debated. The fact that it looks like it's one of the rarest bikes in the game, obviously you could see why there. But now let's move on to the performance of this new bike. And the performance does not at all justify a price tag of $2 million. So I did two tests here. I did a straight line drag test, which can actually be misleading, because one of the features of the Sanctus is it actually doesn't have a bad top speed, and you'd obviously see that shown off really well in a drag test. So I ended up receiving a time of a little over 23, kind of close to 24, which was about 2.5 seconds slower than the Akachu drag, which of course is the fastest bike in the game. So 2 to 2.5 seconds behind a drag test is slow and obviously a noticeable difference, but it's not anything that makes you go like, whoa, 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 that is crazy slow. However, that's not where the Sanctus has its difficulties, because its acceleration, while it's slow, that top speed does get it up there pretty quickly. The Sanctus really struggles in 2 categories. That is braking, handling, and traction. And it is one of the hardest vehicles, in my opinion, to drive in terms of if you're trying to get good performance out of it. And where I noticed a big difference is actually on a track and in a real-life racing situation, where I noticed that the Sanctus was about 6 to 7 seconds slower than the Akachu drag. So you guys know I did a very similar test comparing the Vortex and the drag about 2 or 3 days ago on Tuesday, and its results are, like I said, about 6 seconds behind the Akachu drag, that being the Sanctus. So yeah, it really struggles. One of the things that I noticed the most here was that the back wheel would seem to give out. It almost had similar handling to the Raptor, where if you hit a bump or you went up a curb, your back wheel would like give out on you and it would slide. Now, I don't know if that is supposed to be a feature of the bike itself, because I do notice that it does have the ability to power slide in a way. And if you are able to master this, you can do some pretty cool spins and tricks with the bike that allow you to kind of go around a corner much more sharply than you normally would. But to me, I'm obviously not an experienced racer or an experienced rider by any means. I found that this was more of a hindrance than something of a benefit. I noticed that I would almost constantly spin out the bike going around turns. I was always super cautious because I felt that that back wheel was going to give out at almost any moment. So that was something that I was very much aware of at all times, and I simply really struggled with the fact that I couldn't go around turns the way I wanted to, and it just really hurts this car performance-wise. So performance-wise, I would absolutely not recommend buying this vehicle, because essentially it is the Averis, the LCC Averis, without the skull. In fact, if you remove some of the other Halloween style customization, you can basically turn this bike into a $2 million Averis, which obviously is something you don't want. And it's not even the fastest bike in its kind of category. If we're specifically looking at choppers, the Gargoyle and the Cliffhanger are both superiorly quicker than this bike, the Sanctus, and they're much cheaper as well. So do not buy this bike for performance. It is not going to be worth it for you. You're simply going to be wasting your money. The only reason why you should buy this bike is for a couple reasons. Number one, the Halloween theme. Some people might love Halloween, they might love the vibe, and it might be something that's super cool to them. Number two, it's probably going to be one of the rarest bikes in the game, and the customization makes it pretty rare. You obviously have never seen anything like this. Red colored headlights. We've never seen anything like that either. But at the end of the day, I think that the price is a little bit too high. I think $2 million is just a bit unreasonable for Rockstar to make that price. Now, if this bike was $1 million, okay, I can see that. You know, most of the bikes that were added with bikers are $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. The drag is kind of an exception. It's $1 million, but this is just really far out there. And I feel like if it was maybe 50% cheaper, that it would be so much better. Now, if it had just slightly better performance, I could see the $2 million price tag, but really it just doesn't make sense when the performance is so bad. So bottom line here, and really giving you guys my final verdict, the Sanctus is a really cool bike, and if we remove price from the equation, it's awesome. It looks menacing, it looks scary, it looks dangerous, it's got some of the coolest features in the game, the customization is amazing, but the performance is something you're never going to really use in a situation like racing. So this is going to be simply for cruises, car shows, showing off to your friends, driving around. That's just something you're going to have to cope with here if you want this bike. And the $2 million price tag is pretty steep. I would only recommend buying this bike if you have additional funds to buy other content that's going to be coming out into the game soon, like the Shitaro and what's likely coming beyond these hidden unreleased vehicles. So like I said, if you're on the fence and you only have like $2 or $3 million, I would recommend probably skipping this bike. But if you have a good amount of money, you understand that you're not getting it for performance, then yeah, it's one awesome looking vehicle. So as always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Do you think the Shotaro is worth over $2 million when it's all said and done when it comes to customizing it and whatnot? Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comments right now. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With out of the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.